Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ball Not Court podcast host Cortez Paul.
Along with my co-host Paul Mack.
I want to thank you folks for tuning in today and listening to the show. Basically, we cover basketball, football, NCAA, or anything that's related to current events with a humorous twist to it, at least. You can follow the podcast at BIOC Podcast at X or Twitter. We're also on Instagram at the same name, BIOC Podcast. You go to our YouTube channel, that's also BIOC Podcast. Our Facebook page is Balls Not Court Podcast. So if you could please just give us a like, shout, comment on any of those, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Balls Not Court Podcast. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Ball Not Court podcast. Cortez Paul is here. Paul Mack to my right. And a familiar face, Brad Renner. This man has been doing stuff and things. Welcome back, Brad. How you doing, sir?
I'm glad to be back. That's what I am.
Hey,
I get to sit down and talk some sports for however long it takes us to get through this, and that is fine.
Well, if y'all start talking about
Look at that. I love that. Amanda's chiming in. Tell Amanda I said hello.
I'll tell you who else. I'll tell you who else is going to be glad to be back. Mike Tomlin.
Oh,
I locked down another year.
hey.
Congratulations on your playoff berth, Brad. It's been a while. For those of you guys who aren't in our group chat, it was a fun first half of the year as Brad was lighting the candle. It seemed like every week. And then, much like last year, he didn't light it a whole lot the second half of the
We
year.
sure didn't. It got put away with the rest of the when Christmas came around.
But
That is good, man.
he needs to go dig it up because he's back.
He is back.
No, it's gonna stay there.
Don't want to take any chances.
No,
All right.
It's been good luck ever since we put it away. So I don't want to. No jinx.
How have you been, Cortez? We never get to ask you that question. How have you been, bud?
Man, listen, man, I can tell you, man, I haven't had it's been 10 years since I feel this feeling being number one seed as a Broncos fan. The lone trials and tribulations of watching Brock Osweiler and Drew Lock and Russell Wilson, and I can keep going.
Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow, which, I got to love Tim Tebow. I'm a Gator fan, but it's cool, man. It is very cool to see. They got a cap lot that's coming off from Russell Wilson's contract, so they're gonna have $40 million to play around with next year. The Broncos is one of the top teams leading the league in drops, so hopefully we can shore that up in the offseason. But man, it's been a fun ride. I expect Denver to be good. I didn't expect it to be number one seed good. So super excited, man. And I get to chill this week. I don't get here and be stressed. I get to watch everybody else be stressed. So
Yeah, me too, man. Me too, because my season ended 8 weeks ago. But
yeah, man. So
I know I replaced the Steelers win candle with a blood pressure monitor.
But I will tell you this, though, before we get started on the playoffs, there's quite a few head coach candidates that are out there for teams that are looking. So
how you feeling, man?
I know it's not going to happen, but John Harbaugh ain't bad.
No, I
John
don't think
Harbaugh ain't bad for a young quarterback. John Harbaugh's not bad. And after today, why not just hire Mike McDaniels and just let him just cook, dude? Just let him just fucking cook.
I was honestly going to say this.
Him and his weird ass. Just let him cook, dude.
How would you feel Jim Harbaugh as head coach and him as your offensive coordinator?
That's what I'm saying. Just fucking cook, dude. You got if everybody comes back healthy, you got Malik Neighbors coming off the ACL, obviously. Jackson Dart had a hell of a rookie campaign despite like the number of times he went into the medical tent. Getting Cam Scatabo back, the emergence of Wan'Dale Robinson. Like there's a lot to be like excited for on the offensive side. And it's like, if we just got people that can scheme, I think it could be pretty interesting. But like, if you can get them both, sure. I know John Harbaugh wants no part of that, which is I understand. But there's still a lot going on. I'll take Kevin Stefanski. Like there's still some quality guys out there. It's not bad.
Yeah, there are a lot of good offensive-minded coaches that have gotten fired that just didn't seem like the front office gave them the options they needed to be successful.
Well, you guys blessed an end zone that cost John Harbaugh his job.
I saw that shit. That's funny.
Man,
I'll take it.
there you go, man. That game.
Because if he makes that field goal, Mike Tomlin's probably fired.
Yeah.
It's very true.
And I might have been possibly okay with that too.
Instead, Siri play Renegade.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. We have 6 matchups. This is Super Wildcard Weekend. This is the name they call it now. So now it's 7 teams total, 6 in each conference are playing. The number 1 seed's got a bye. So in this case, Seattle and Denver earned the bye for each respective conferences. So they both are sitting watching from home. But we're going to the first matchup. I know I sent in the chat that we're going to go with the first game. Buffalo, who's number 6, they're 13-4 versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, who is 12-5. They're the number 3 seed. This game will be at 1:00 p.m. the 11th on CBS. So I want to start with Paul, man. So, hey, just ranking a must-watch out of 5 stars. How many stars you giving this game?
Which one are we on?
So we own a Buffalo and Jaguars.
Oh, that's the game of the week, bro. That's like, at least for the AFC, that's the game of the week for me. Like that is like, I remember like I was talking about this at work yesterday with one of my bosses. Like there's this swagger Jacksonville's got that like I'm all for it. They're giving Trevor Lawrence a grill. Like my man's having the time of his life, bro. And there's just so much going on because it's like this has been a big year for Trevor Lawrence. He's kind of finally turned the page. How good is Trevor Lawrence? Let's see like what he can do in the postseason versus like Josh Allen, who this is the first time where he has really no obstacles in his way, and he has no excuse to not make his big run. And if he can't do it, then we got to start putting that asterisk on Josh Allen in the postseason. Because it's always been something it's not Josh Allen's fault. Josh Allen played his best game he could play. Someone else lost the game for him, or he ran to Patrick Mahomes, or whatever the fuck the reason is. They didn't get the ball in overtime. Blah 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 blah. Now, Josh Allen's got no excuses. He's got to nut up or shut up, and he's got to play like the MVP candidate that he's supposed to be. He finished the season with the number 1 running back in the league in James Cook. The offense is rolling. Despite all the things we said about them, not really having wide receivers, they got Gabe Davis back. He had a big catch last week, so I mean he got someone he's comfortable with, and yeah, man, this is just gonna be we're not used to. Usually Buffalo has that first round bye, so we haven't seen them play in a wild card. I feel like in a little bit, so this is gonna be big, and Jacksonville is probably one of the hottest teams in the league, so I'm locked in for this one at on Saturday.
Okay. Brad, with you, going out of 5 stars, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest.
5 stars.
Scale.
I would definitely say out of the AFC, this would be the better game to watch. So I'm going to go with Paul and say 5 stars. Both these teams got kind of hot here at the end. Jacksonville's on an 8-game win streak. Buffalo's won 4 out of the last 5. Jacksonville last lost November 9th. So, I mean, how often do we see Jacksonville get this hot, especially toward the end of the year? Oh, I mean, the way that they're playing, I could almost see this being like that year that Jacksonville played Pittsburgh in the playoffs and just ran us over like we were a dead dog on the side of the road. But like Paul was saying too, this is Josh Allen's pretty much zero hurdle run. If he doesn't, I mean, like he said, is it really the team's fault or is it Josh Allen's fault? So I don't know. Could we see Buffalo start looking toward another option at quarterback when this contract runs out, or try and shell him to somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like if Buffalo doesn't make a decent run in the playoffs, we could see some major shuffling in the organization.
What's y'all thoughts about this whole narrative about, well, this certain quarterback not in it, Pat Mahomes, you have no Lamar Jackson. So, like, this is the year that Josh Allen's got to win the Super Bowl. But then you look at this, Jacksonville is no slouch. But these other teams, too, New England's had a great run. Denver's had a great run. Texans got probably the best defense in the AFC and the NFL. Seattle and Denver. So what's this whole narrative y'all make of about this has got to be Josh Allen year?
I mean, it's the NFL, right? It's always going to boil down to who they think has the better quarterback, who the better quarterback is. It's always going to be that. It's always going to be quarterback play, especially in the postseason. And this is one of those times where Buffalo's on the road, so that they don't have the home playoff advantage. So you're not going to worry about cold. The weather should be good. And I think that people just like Jacksonville, I think, is a team because of just who they are and where they've been. Like they haven't really proven anything. Trevor Lawrence hasn't really proven anything. I mean, does he have a playoff win under his belt? I think he has one,
mm-hmm.
if that. So it's just like, you have to look at it that way. And it's just, if you're looking at it from a quarterback standpoint, like Josh Allen is the better quarterback. He's the, multiple time MVP candidate. He won the MVP. So you're gonna teeter it towards that. So I think it's just, that's the thing. And like when you're Josh Allen, and every year for the last how many years you just can't you make it to how many AFC championship games and you can't get through Patrick Mahomes, like that hurdle is gone now. And we see it a lot in the NBA. There's always these teams that for some reason someone can't get through, and then when that team's not there, it's supposed to be their time to take it, and you do or you don't, and it kind of shapes your trajectory for the next few years. We've seen it all the time, and this has major implications on Josh Allen's legacy. I think. I mean, he's still going to be a hell of a football player, but if you're the MVP caliber and you're the top 3, top 4 or 5 quarterback in the league, and the other, and potentially 2 of those 5 aren't in the postseason, that puts you as a top 2 quarterback in the postseason. I guess you could probably say that, between him, Drake May, Matt Stafford, probably your top 3 QBs. Throw Brock Purdy in there, but of those guys, Purdy, Stafford, and Allen probably have the most playoff experience. So, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, obviously, but he's just older. But other than that, it's a bunch of young guys. So when it comes down to the quarterback play, it's got to be Josh Allen's year. This has to be.
Okay.
Yeah, coming out of the AFC, I mean, between him and Aaron Rodgers, those are your quarterbacks with the most playoff experience. So if he struggles, it's not a very good look for Josh Allen, especially coming off that MVP candidacy run that he had last year and win.
Yeah, good call out, guys. So, all right. So, and that let me go to you, Brad. Who's the S factor for each of these teams, or just pick one? Pick a team. Let's say Jacksonville. Who's the Jacksonville player that you're looking to come out and this is the guy that they need to have a really good game to notch a victory here?
I think it's definitely going to have to be Trevor Lawrence. He can't come out and revert to the Trevor Lawrence we've seen in previous seasons, throwing picks left and right. I think that's going to be the key, is if he keeps control of the ball, he doesn't make, stupid decisions that lead to turnovers. As long as they keep that Bills defense away from him and don't let him get too dirty in the pocket, I think Jacksonville's got the best shot to win if those factors are met.
Awesome. For you, all Buffalo, who's the X factor for Buffalo?
It's got to be James Cook. Ride what got you there. Got to lead the league in rushing. You know what I mean? Like you got to run the ball. You got to dominate the clock. You want to keep the Jags offense off the field the way they've been moving the ball. Their defense has forced some turnovers. Josh Allen is pretty good with turnovers, but it can get away from him a little bit sometimes. So I would just give it to James Cook. Let James Cook control the pace of the game and just force Jacksonville to beat you at what you do best. They run the ball. They're one of the best running teams in the league between Josh Allen and James Cook. So if I'm Buffalo, I'm just pounding the rock with James Cook until Jacksonville either stops me or it just doesn't work anymore.
Gotcha. All right. So my little deep dives that I did on this is for this particular series here, the plan of attack or something that we need to just kind of keep our eye on for this particular game here is so the Bills are a bottom 10 team in defensive finishing there every rushing category, which includes design runs and rushes inside and outside. So as you know, Travis Etienne didn't rack up 1,000 yards, so he got another 1,000 yards or 1,100 yards for a year, and then also got 7 touchdowns on the ground. So within this past month, Trevor Lawrence has picked up his own running up there, totaling 180 yards and 4 touchdowns in that span. So his timely runs has been very special. When I had watched him play against my Broncos, he picked the time to run the ball, and it was just deadly. But Trevor Lawrence been doing this with his legs for a while, ever since he did this with Clemson. So, but Jacksonville has not been the most efficient units in 2025. They average just 4 point yards per carry, which is the 6th fewest, and then 0.1 rush yards over expected per carry, which is the 7th fewest. ETN only topped 100 rushing yards twice. That's in weeks 1 and 4, and has 50 or fewer yards on the ground in 3 of his last 4 games. But on the flip side, like I mentioned, the Bills, they have allowed the 3rd most rushing yards per carry of 5.14 yards, and then the 5th most rushing yards per game was 136.2. So that's something that you mentioned about Trevor Lawrence using his legs and ETN having a big game. Those things you need to look at that could be a determining factor for this game between the Bills' rushing attack on defense and Jacksonville uptick lately in running the ball. So this is going to be Jacksonville reverting back to what they did back in the early weeks, and the offense was stagnant and the running game was non-existent, or is it going to be this team that's been winning, been the hottest team in the league over the past month? So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out between the Bills' rushing defense and the Jacksonville Jaguars' rushing offense. So with that being said, though, who wins this game? And I'll start with Brad. Who wins this game?
I think it's going to be Jacksonville. I think it's their time. I think they've got enough pieces, new head coach, new philosophy. Everyone seems to be bought into it. They're just super hot right now. And I said at the beginning, they haven't lost since November 9th, so that's almost 2 months without seeing number pop up in that L column. So as hot as they are, I think they're going to keep it going.
Got it. Matt, what do you got?
The more I think about it and the more we talk about it, I want Jacksonville to win so bad. Just because I want just this swag train to keep moving. And you want Trevor Lawrence to be good. You know what I mean? We know he's had flashes his whole career, and just seeing what he's done this year, it's been a very special season for him, and the time is now. But it's just hard, man. It's hard. It's hard to go against Buffalo after all we said about Josh Allen, but I'm gonna go Buffalo. I think it'll be close, but I'm gonna go Buffalo. I just don't. I think it's one of those games where he won't turn the ball over. so there won't be a lot of extra possessions for Jacksonville, and I could just see Trevor Lawrence making one Trevor Lawrence play, and it kind of being the difference.
Gotcha. This is going to be a really tough matchup, man, and it's going to be close to what people think. But I will say, if Jacksonville want to prove people wrong and not get shot at or take shots about being a small market team, these are the type of games that you need to win. You're on your home field. A lot of people were talking about Josh Allen. This is his best path to go to the Super Bowl. You got plenty of bulletin board material to go ahead and win this game. So why not go ahead and take out who they consider Goliath, the guy who's supposed to get the Super Bowl, the guy who's kind of short every time? Why can't it be Jacksonville to go ahead and get this story here? Why can't we keep enjoying this feel-good story here? And I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's going to get the win. And their special teams is better. Their offense is hot right now. Their defense is solid. So I believe a special team play is going to be the tilting point for them. And they're going to push this over the edge, and they'll get a win over Buffalo Bills.
Parker Washington's probably been like the best return guy in the league this year.
Yeah,
that guy is dynamic.
And then Cam Little, that kicker is just fucking ridiculous. So
yeah, when you could nail it from almost 70. Yeah, that's tough.
That dude's nuts, man. So, all right, let's go into the
next. 20 yards, you're within field goal range.
Pretty much. That dude is insane, man. So, all right, so number 7 LA Chargers versus number 2 team. Chargers are 11-6. They did rest Justin Herbert and some other pieces against the Denver finale. So they ended up dropping all the way down to 7. New England's 14-3. This is the game that's at 8:00 p.m. It's on the 11th, and this is on NBC. Paul, give me your the ranking must watch out of 5 stars between this Patriots and the Chargers. What you thinking? How many stars?
I gave it like a 3. Like, playoff Justin Herbert hasn't been anything too special. The Chargers themselves, I don't think are too exciting. And then the Patriots at 14-3 are a team where, similar to your Denver Broncos, had a very easy schedule. Your Broncos has had some tough games, but for me, it's just like the Patriots beat all the teams they were supposed to beat. And obviously Drake Mays had a hell of a season, but how many teams with winning records did they even play this year?
One.
But that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It just seems like they were just feeding off the bottom feeders. No disrespect. Obviously a hell of a year for Mike Vrabel and all that stuff. But it's just you play who's in front of you, I get it, but they haven't played a ton of competition. And this would be Drake Mays, first postseason. So we'll see. I mean, there are some cool little tidbits there, but I'm just not super excited for this game. I could care less. I could just have it on in the background while I'm doing anything else.
Brad, your ranking out of 5 stars?
Yeah, I'm not too excited about this game either. I'd probably go 2. It's the Chargers. We all know how the Chargers play in the playoffs. They seem to disappear. And with, the way that the Patriots have been playing, even though they've had an easy schedule, I mean, the Chargers stumbling into the playoffs is just another bottom feeder game. Like you were saying, Cortez, they should easily beat this team. So I don't really have much of a reason to tune into this one. Maybe drop in here and there just to see how ugly it gets, but I'm not too hyped about this game.
Got you. All right. We'll cover this quickly then. All right. So who is your S factor, Paul, in this game? And let's go on the Pat side. Go on the Pat side. Who's the S factor on the Pat side?
I guess you gotta go Drake May, right? We're gonna see what Drake May gonna keep doing what he's doing, put up these astronomical, stats he has all year. He's a potential MVP candidate, and that team's gonna go as far as Drake May takes them. They're not only they're strong enough at any one thing that if Drake May starts to go off the rails a little bit, that they can hone it back in. I mean, their defense is decent, but like Ramondre Stevenson, he's a turnover problem waiting to happen, and they've had some other injuries in the backup running back spot, so like they're kind of plugging and playing there. Sometimes it feels like, but Drake May can make plays with his feet. He can make plays with his arm. It's got to be a big Drake May game. Like I know, like the Chargers, as we say, the Chargers charge sometimes, and they make it easy on you a little bit. But Justin Herbert has been in the postseason before, and he does have some experience, and it's going to be really boiled down to, I think, the coaching. I think the coaching schemes are going to be Harbaugh versus Vrabel. I think that's the real matchup of this game. The X's and O's. So That's kind of where I'm at.
Gotcha. Brad, who's the X factor for the Chargers?
I think it's going to be their offensive line. Their two best offensive linemen are out hurt. And we know Vrabel likes to bring lots of pressure. And the Chargers are a run-heavy team to open up that play action in the deep ball that Herbert liked to throw. So if that offensive line can't give him the time that he needs, or give Amarian Harrison time to develop running lanes, then it's going to get over quick.
Gotcha. Good stuff. All right, so looking in this game, deep diving here, something that came up was Drake May and his passes over 10 yards, so his downfield throws. These passes, Drake May has a leading 126.1 passer rating, 61% from completion rate, and then a 60% pass rate. So his 11.5% completion percentage over spread downfield is not the highest among qualifying 2025, but it's also the second high by any quarterback any season this following Ryan Tannehill back in 2019. That's how efficient this guy's been. I know we make the joke about his schedule being super easy, but Drake May has been doing what he's supposed to do with the results that's in front of him. So, but on the flip side, this is an awesome Chargers secondary. They're top 10 in pretty much pass in both immediate and also the short pass, but the deep pass they allow a 56.7 passer rating downfield. So that's the second lowest behind only to the Seahawks. They surrender 10 touchdowns and only now 14 interceptions on such passes. So there is a way for them to go ahead and actually expose a weakness in this Chargers defense. Drake May's got to be able to go ahead and throw the ball downfield, and he's got to do it at a good rate, and has showed that he has to in a good rate. So that's going to be a fun matchup between that secondary and Drake May, and to see if he can go over the top and see if he can go over that talented secondary that they have in the Los Angeles Chargers. So who wins and who you got, Paul? Who you got winning this game?
I'm gonna go. I'll go Patriots. I just don't think I trust the Chargers enough.
Gotcha. Brad, who you got?
Playing the night game in a cold Gillette Stadium. I don't think them boys from California are gonna be too happy out there. I think it's gonna be Patriots easy.
Yep, I feel like the Chargers really kind of let opportunity slip, try to get the division from Denver. Yeah, so I'm still not sold on the New England Patriots, but I don't think this is the week that we see them get exposed. And I feel like New England Patriots going to win this game.
And I think you got to look at it from the standpoint too of like the matchups in this first round of the teams that do have home field advantage. They are probably the best one that has the best chance of like holding home court. You know what I mean? Because it's like the other games, scary for all parties involved. If you're a home team, so one of the home teams is going to win, and if you break it down, I just think New England is the best available.
Gotcha. All right, and then the last AFC game will go with number 5 Houston Texans, who's 12-5, versus the number 4 Pittsburgh Steelers, who is 10-7. This game will be at 8:15 p.m. on the 12th. It's be on ESPN. From a watching standpoint, out of 5 stars, let's go with the Pittsburgh Steelers resident here on the podcast. Where you at watching this game as far as like ranking? Well, I know you're gonna watch it, but what you think the watchability is for this?
Well, for me, probably not super high because I have a tendency of turning the game on and watching it turn over and then turning it right back off. So I'll probably drop in on this game unless it turns into a blowout, and I'll probably start watching it. But no, I'm just kidding. No, I'd probably go 4, just because Houston's a good team. I mean, statistically, they're better than the Steelers in every category.
Mm-hmm.
We do get DK Metcalf back. Hopefully he doesn't slap a fan again. I think Houston's going to be a more explosive team. From watching the Steelers play all year, I mean, it's for most of the time, it just seems like it's a struggle for them to get the ball down the field. There's no real big play threat. I mean, you have 1, maybe 2 options there with Calvin Austin. I mean, he's been the biggest threat. I mean, even DK Metcalf, if you look at all of those long touchdowns that he's had this year, they haven't been really deep throws. They've been, middle of the field, mid-range throws that he's just broke off. And the running backs, I've seen Warren get lucky a few times from about 40 yards out, but it's just, as far as explosivity, it's definitely not on the Steelers' offensive side of the ball.
Mr. Mack, out of 5 stars, how many stars are you giving this must watch?
I'll give it a 4, just because the Texans' defense is one of the best defenses we've seen in a long time.
Yes.
Statistically, they are up there with some of the best defenses we've seen, in our lifetime. They are the real deal. They do not give up points. They do not give up big plays. And, when you're early in the year, when they were kind of trying to figure out their offense a little bit, that defense has carried them. And Derek Stingley Jr. is big time, and I'm sure he'll take on any matchup they're going to give. He'll probably follow DK Metcalf all over the field. He will not shy away. They can get to the quarterback. It's just, you have an old Aaron Rodgers back there. Can't navigate the pocket the way he used to. I mean, he still can pretty good. He had a couple of nice plays against Baltimore, but those are 2 entirely different defenses. And I just think Aaron Rodgers is in for a long day if they can't run the ball, if they can't get Jaylen Warren going, and they're forced to drop back 40 times and throw, they're going to be in a world of hurt.
Because we all know them old bones don't move well in the cold.
No.
Oh, man. Good stuff.
And to kind of piggyback off what Paul was saying, Houston's top or 1 in defensive rank, 4th in pass defense, 6th in rush defense, and 2nd in points allowed versus the Steelers 26th, 29th, 13th, and 17th. So, yay!
Brett just crossing his fingers let's see what happens here. All right.
DK out there somewhere.
So back to you, Brad, because you know this team better than anybody else. Who's the S factor for your Pittsburgh Steelers?
I think it's going to come to the defense. That defense has got to make CJ Stroud very uncomfortable very quickly and very often. They've got to stop the run. I mean, they need to be that Pittsburgh defense that when you look at their payroll sheet, that it equates out that they've put all the money in the right side of the ball. I mean, if defense wins championships, the Steelers should be miles ahead of everybody with the amount of money that they spend on that side of the ball. But, you can have the world's greatest defense, but if your offense can't do anything productive, it's going to be nasty.
Good call, man. Mac, who's the S factor for the Texans?
I mean, it's the playoffs, man. I think the X factors, like I said, I'm putting it on Derek Stingley Jr. I think he's got to just lock down his guy. He's got to make, he's the cog that makes that machine go, and he's going to take on every challenge there is out there. He can get a pick six. He can knock down balls. He can run with pretty much anybody out there, and just not give up the big play. Don't let Calvin Austin beat you deep. Stay on DK Metcalf. I know that's he's probably twice his size, but that's not going to scare him any. And it's just show why you're the number 2 pass defense in the league. Like, just do what you've been doing all year. There's no reason to change the game plan. Let Aaron Rodgers at 40-something years old try to drop back and beat you, and that's got to be your game plan. You can't let any of these other guys beat you. And when you have an all-pro lockdown DB, like as with PS2, like when he's 100%, like it's nice to know that you have a guy on the outside that is going to pretty much cut off a lifeline to the quarterback.
And it's usually their number 1 lifeline.
Right, exactly. And when your receiving core is DK Metcalf and friends, I'd rather let the friends try to beat me than let Debo roam the block on his bike. Let's just get him out of here. You know what I mean?
Oh, good stuff.
Oh,
man.
I miss Debo.
All right, so kind of dive into this game here. I know what was mentioned is mentioned about. I know Brad mentioned about Jalen Warren, and Kenneth Gainwell. Their inside runs has been very successful for this year. Matter of fact, they have a success rate of 54% with the inside carries and this lead the NFL over teams as the Broncos, the Rams, and the Bills. On the flip side, though, we talk about the Texans' historic defense. They are pretty much at a negative 0.4 rush yards over expected per carry. And they have their success rate against them running is at 40%. Matter of fact, over their current 9-game winning streak, Houston just allowed 3.2 yards per carry and negative 94 total rush yards over expected, which is both best marks by any defense. So as we know, as we mentioned, you can't, as much as you want to rely on Aaron Rodgers, he had to play out experience. He had to make some timely throws here. That running game is being shut down. And then you have Aaron Rodgers got to go try to reinvent himself in God mode from 3 years or 4 years ago. It's going to be something to watch between that running game, between that run defense that Houston possessed versus the fantastic inside run that the Pittsburgh Steelers do possess with these running backs. So, which has been kind of on late here. With that being said, Mr. Mack, who wins this game?
I'm gonna go Texans. It's gonna be a low scoring one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I'll take Houston. Like 20-15.
Okay. I'll let Brad make the last pick since he's a fan of one of these teams. I'm gonna go Houston as well. That defense is just really, really good, man. I think I can see Pittsburgh getting like one touchdown, a field goal. Really depends what kind of CJ Stroud we get here. He is susceptible to turn the ball over as well too. if Pittsburgh can create a turnover and make this game very interesting, they definitely can. And they're at home, so God knows anything can happen in Pittsburgh.
They're going to bless both end zones.
Yeah. So it's going to be a fun matchup, but that defense is just historically good, man, and I'm scared of Houston. We barely beat them during the regular season as a Broncos fan, so it's a tough matchup, man. But, yeah, Houston edges this one out here over the Steelers. Who you got, Brad?
I mean, of course I want Pittsburgh to win, but at the same time, my hopes aren't very high. I don't think Pittsburgh's offense has what it takes to get past that defense that Houston's going to throw out there. So I'm kind of with Paul. I'm thinking it's going to be 17-21, somewhere in there. We're going to have quite a few field goals from Boswell, maybe one touchdown.
Let me ask this, Brad, since you already know the particular matchups are already set. Was there a matchup you was hoping for? Besides, was Houston, Texas your worst case scenario, or was there any matchup you were like, I could potentially see something here against them?
No, there was no potential matchup this postseason that I could have confidently said I could see the Steelers in the AFC Championship. There was no safe road. It's like back roading in Polk County with a cooler full of beer in your passenger seat, praying to God Grady doesn't pull up behind you because you're screwed.
All right, fair enough, man. Fair enough.
I'm just being honest.
And I appreciate that, man. I had to ask. So, all right.
No, zero confident ways after the Steelers got into the playoffs. Everything from here is a bonus.
He said, awesome. All right, let's move to the NFC. We'll go to the first game. Number 5, Los Angeles Rams, who's 12-5. It's number 4, Carolina, 8-9. This is games at 4:30 p.m. on the 10th. This is be on Fox. I already know the answer to this question here, but I'm asking anyways. Must watch out of 5 stars. What we giving this? And I start with Paul.
I mean, Carolina did beat them in the regular season.
Yeah. Right.
Rams might have been looking ahead a little bit. It was a crazy. Was that the crazy like Rico Dowdle game, or was that?
Yes, it was.
That was the start of the Dowdle.
Yeah, the Dowdle. When they realized, oh, we got something here. But no, I mean, this is like a 2. Like you're excited for Carolina. I think like it's cool to see like someone new in the postseason that we haven't seen before. Teterow and McMillan's like he's really good. He's a potential Rookie of the Year candidate.
Yeah.
But like this is the Rams game to lose. And I think when you have a Super Bowl winning MVP QB and you got Puka Nacua, who has just been absolutely unstoppable, it sets you up to be in a position where, again, I hope they're not looking ahead. Like we hope that they're locked in, and I think Sean McVay will have them locked in. But yeah, it's tough for Carolina, man. Like that's tough. We make it into the postseason, and honestly, similar to Pittsburgh, like I don't know if there was a favorable matchup for Carolina. Like that's tough. But here we are. Congratulations, you made it. But make sure you take some pictures because it might be over pretty quick.
Brad, how many stars did you get?
I'm gonna go with Paul. I mean, if it's anything like the first matchup, it's gonna be a good game. But I'm not too high or excited about this one.
Gotcha.
I think we could see Pittsburgh stopping in Charlotte to pick the Panthers up to join them in Cancun. Yeah, 2-for-1 flight.
Does somebody have his guy division and it happened to be Carolina's year? and they're rewarded this tough matchup.
The
against
Baker
LA.
Mayfield memes were great, though. Did you see those? My man just on his kitchen counter, just like, fuck.
I mean, it's the AFC South. I mean, it's kind of like the joke division of the NFC.
It's been the human cigar division for like a few years, man.
We're talking about it's like sponsored by LinkedIn.
Pretty much, it's been bad, man. So, all right, well, Paul, who's the S factor for let's go Carolina? Who's the S factor for Carolina?
I mean, Bryce Young. Like, Bryce Young's got to play. He's a guy who historically is relatively mediocre. Like, he has a breakout game here or there, but I mean, he hardly throws for 200 yards. It feels like every week. Like, he doesn't put up huge numbers. He can run a little bit, but it's just, you don't want to have to rely on that. You want to see him make plays. You know, they put some pieces around him. He's got to make throws. He's got to make, there's a stat in the NFL that they added recently called big time throws. He's got to make big time throws. Or as the kids say, big time flows. He's got to make big time flows to his guys. You got to flow it. You got to flow it deep. Get in the end zone, and that's that. If like all 5 foot whatever of them, you know what I mean. He's hurt his whole career. He's a short king, but he's got to come up big.
There it is. Love it. S factor for the Rams, Brad. Who you got?
I think it's going to be Matt Stafford. If he can avoid the turnovers, what killed him in the first meeting, then it'll be the Rams. But if we see Matt Stafford or the Rams play anything like they did the first time, it'll be the Panthers.
Gotcha. I'm glad you mentioned Matt Stafford, by the way, because playing attack with him, this particular season, he throwing the best 42 touchdowns and just had 7 interceptions. He had a 118.6 passer rating and a whopping 8.3 yards per attempt. That's what Puka Nacua does to have him on your team for sure. In fact, of those 42 touchdown passes from a clean pocket, that was the most that he had from a clean pocket. And that the previous high was set by Aaron Rodgers in 2016 with 40. So Stafford and the Rams are 5-1 in games where you pressure fewer than 10 times. And the one loss that did come against the Carolina Panthers in Week 13. The Panthers ended the wild card round the lowest QB pressure of any defense at 26.2. And if not any defense in the postseason, any defense in the entire league. But when they faced Stafford back in Week 13, they pressured him 4 times, which was fused all year. But in those pressures was 2 sacks and 1 interception. So in those pressures, there was a productive pressure out of those. So 3 of those pressures came in productive plays. So the question do Carolina sit back and play it safe? Because this is Matt Stafford, who is a beast and who is getting the ball down the field. It's at an impressive rate. Or do they take advantage of these pressures and up the pressure if this LA Rams come out hot and serious and actually take them as a real candidate, not look forward. So it'd be interesting to see if Week 13 can be repeated, but those are the trends that was happening when it comes to that. So that being said, do we see a letdown or do we see the LA Rams advancing? What did the panel say? Let's start with Paul. Who you got winning?
Oh, I'm all in on the Rams. I mean, they were one of my picks when the season started. I've been high on them all year. They've had some weird losses. I mean, that game against Seattle was wild. They lost a game to the Carolina Panthers. They could have easily been a 1 seed if they just didn't lose those couple games. But now I've been high on them all year, so I'm going to ride the Matt Stafford Express. And the way that they've played all year too is Devontae Adams, if he's healthy, he's been like basically a goal line, as good as a goal line run on the down there. Most of his touchdowns have been like at the goal line. Like, it's just slants and fades to Devontae Adams because you're so worried about Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
Very dynamic offense, and it's just I just don't see. I don't see Matt Stafford losing another game where he gets pressured 4 times. There's no way.
Gotcha. Brad?
I'm going to go with the team formerly known as the St. Louis Rams.
I knew you had to do that in there.
I just don't think the Panthers have enough playoff experience to get through Sean McVay and his offensive genius.
Yeah. Now with Tampa Bay, and I'm make my pick here. Would Tampa Bay been a sexier matchup between the Rams and the Bucks? Probably so. It would have been definitely there. But as Paul mentioned at the beginning of this breakdown, this segment, it was cool to see Carolina get there. A lot of changes. They gambled. They traded a lot to get Bryce Young. So the fruits of their labor has come to fruition. So this is cool. Nice little stuff for them to get some playoff success. Bryce Young, get to see how it feels. Get a game at home. I do think that the Rams do take this seriously, and then this is a whopping. So this game will this is on Fox 4:30. So by the time, just go out, play with your kids, go do something productive, this game be over. In blowout fashion. 2 more games, all right? The next game we're going to talk about, number 7 Green Bay Packers, 11-6 against number 2 Chicago Bears, also 11-6. So Bears had a tiebreaker, and they end up getting that, and then they end up getting a number 2 seed. So this will be at 8 o'clock p.m. on the 10th on Prime Video. Prime Video will have a playoff game. So we're there. As far as watchability, we already know the history between the Bears and the Packers. What's y'all thoughts on watching stars, out of 5 stars? Is this game, is it up there? Paul, what you think?
Jordan Love's back, yeah?
Yes, he's back.
Yes.
I know he's been out. He was out with a concussion. Listen, Chicago Bears are big time, bro. I'm tapping in when the Bears are on TV. I'm watching a Bears game. They're exciting. They're doing things offensively. Caleb Williams looks really good. DeAndre Swift, that rushing attack. The wide receivers are if they're all healthy, that's tough. I just don't. I think we're gonna get to the point where we're gonna see. I don't know if Jordan Love's the guy. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
And I think a lot of people are kind of feeling that way. He's good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if he's the guy. And I know it's tough because obviously it's hard to coming up after Aaron Rodgers and all the things that Aaron Rodgers did for that organization. I know the expectations, but similar to other teams we've seen before, Green Bay's kind of had that opportunity the last few years, and whether it was Minnesota, whether that was just a flash in the pan thing last year with them, the Bears are going to be around a while. You know what I mean? And so this is what we're going to look for. This could be the new landscape of that division. I know there was a lot of injuries to Green Bay, and I know they lost their tight end, and he was a big part of their offense. But losing Micah Parsons, you go through that whole thing. But at the end of the day, it comes down to quarterback play, and it comes down to that in the postseason. I just don't think Jordan Love's the guy, and I think someone like Caleb Williams lives for moments like these. He's a guy who idolized Aaron Rodgers growing up. He was his favorite player, and if someone's going to have an Aaron Rodgers-esque playoff performance, I'm gonna go towards Caleb Williams.
Okay, awesome. Brad, out of 5 stars, must watch.
I would say this would definitely be the other game to watch this weekend. I would say 5. This is the 3rd time they've played within, I think 6 weeks.
Week 14 and week 16, yes, sir.
So they've kind of gotten a good idea of what they're going to be doing. They probably have the most matchups ever played against 2 teams in the league. Packers have been inconsistent on offense and defense lately. They've had some big injuries, like Paul was saying. I think this is the year that the Bears don't let the entire city of Chicago down. I think Caleb Williams gets the best love out of the two quarterbacks this week. So I definitely think it's going to be a close game, as they've both been. But I think Chicago definitely takes what they've learned in the previous two matchups and keep going.
Gotcha. All right. Paul, who's the S factor for the Chicago Bears?
I think it's the rushing attack, man. DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. I think those two guys have to be able to run the ball. I know they've had a lot of success between the tackles this year. And that's just what they got to do. Like, they got to just run the ball if they can run the ball. That'll take some pressure off Caleb Williams. And, in the postseason, if you can run the ball and play defense, that'll get you pretty far. Don't turn the ball over. But when you have, two solid running backs, and they're not, we're not talking about Sonic and Knuckles over here, but they are two guys that can, put up some yards, especially DeAndre Swift. He's kind of revitalized his career with Chicago Bears. It's pretty wild. But he's a great between the tackles runner. Like, he's a great just get up the field, north-south. And then obviously Monangai has emerged and taken on a huge chunk of the carries as well the last half of the season. So for me, it's that running game, especially with Green Bay being as beat up as they are on defense. There's no Micah Parsons. The defensive line is vulnerable. Just pound the rock up the middle. That's going to set up Ben Johnson to put together some of those wild, play actions and potential trick plays that Chicago likes to do. And I think that's what sets them up the best for success, because it puts Caleb in a mindset to where you don't have to necessarily rely on him to win. I mean, the kid could make any throw there is, probably. All the talent is there, but first playoff, start at home, I think you want to be able to try to take as much pressure off of him as you can. And if that's going to be, each of those backs toting the thing, 15 times, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I agree with what Paul's saying. If they establish that run early, that's going to hopefully allow Caleb Williams to get in a nice rhythm with Roma Dunze.
Make some big-time flows to Roma Dunze.
Yes, sir.
Slow it.
All right. Paul, that's funny. Brad, who's the S factor for the Packers?
I think it's going to be their secondary. So we know Caleb Williams has the weapons to be explosive, and we know that their secondary hasn't exactly been the most threatening back there for the Packers. So I think if they can win the turnover margins, that'll help Jordan Love kind of relax a little bit. They're going to need to give Jordan Love a couple more possessions long term than the Bears in order for them to be successful in this game. That's the way I think.
Gotcha. I'm glad you transitioned that. Just throwing Brad lobs, and he's giving me good setups here, because just looking at the correlation between week 14 and 16 that they played each other, this was the team without Parsons being there. So Parsons is definitely missed in this defense. He's a ace, do-it-all type of player that he is at the position that he plays. So, and that being said, in week 14, Caleb had 19 out of 35 attempts on 39 dropbacks for 2 touchdowns. And then also in week 16, where they won the game, similar 19 for 34 on 37 dropbacks. The difference is that Williams pressured 5.9 fewer dropbacks as opposed to the increase that they had in week 16. On top of that, too, the yards per attempt when Parsons was playing was at 5.3, but Parsons was at 7.4. So as you was talking about that secondary for the Packers, they need to lock in because they don't have Michael Parsons there. They need to give Jordan Love some extended time on the field, give him some possessions, create some turnovers here, because Caleb Williams has been on the run and picking teams apart. Including that game against Denver that Parsons tore his ACL, Green Bay lost 4 straight while allowing 28.3 points a game. And as we've seen, the Bears are putting up points left and right. The Bears are a scoring machine. And Ben Jackson is a big indicator of that coming from the Detroit Lions. He has got his hands all over this offense and with the weapons that they have. So you will be blown out this building if you don't respect that pass. So, and all of that said, in this beautiful division game where we're going to hear a lot of swearing words between these two fans and the rivalry, I know both sides of the coin here, Packers and Bear fans, and the hate is already flowing. The juices is already going. So give me a victory. Who is going to win this possible game of the week? And I'll start with you, Brad. Who's going to win this game?
I think it is going to wind up being the Bears. I just don't think the Packers defense has enough to stop that rushing attack that they've got, as well as the pass attack. I think as long as, like I said, you keep that Packers defense out on the field and wear them out and keep Jordan Love from possessing the ball, it's going to be a Bears victory.
Gotcha. All right. Mac?
I didn't realize it. I mean, Green Bay does have the 12th ranked total defense. So, I mean, they do – I think the issue this year was their offense. Aside from, early on, Josh Jacobs, I think they just struggle finding the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
They led the league in fewest points allowed in losses. So they give up like 13 points a game in losses, which just shows they're just not scoring. And when you're playing a team like Chicago, they're looking to put up points. They ain't playing playoff football in Chicago. You know what I mean? This is like a FBS bowl game. Like, they're trying to score as many points as possible. They're trying to show off to the people. So, 18th ranked rush defense, not bad, not great. Obviously the conditions in Chicago, I don't know what the weather's going to be like. But
as far as I saw, it's supposed to be cold too.
Cold.
Chicago in January, cold.
Windy.
Let's take a look. Chicago weather. I know it's going to be cold as hell.
I just know like Chicago cold is probably a little different than Green Bay cold because of like the wind and stuff. Like, it's going to be very windy.
You got the lake effect.
Yeah.
Dropping to the mid 30s and the high 20s in the late evening.
Oof.
Wind's going to be 17 to 19 miles per hour.
That's what I'm saying. The wind, that wind's going to be tough. So again, at that point, again, it's just who could run it, and the Bears' rush defense is pretty bad.
I don't care who you are. I can take cold. I cannot take cold and wind. There's something about and especially what'd you say, 17 to 19 with 30-something mile-an-hour gusts?
39 miles per hour gusts.
You might as well be naked because nothing is going to stop that wind. It doesn't matter how many layers of Under Armour or that second skin you put on. That wind is just going to cut right through everything and just make you cold and miserable.
Oh,
yeah. So you got to look at the fact that you're essentially going to eliminate. You're basically going to eliminate field goals. So when it comes down to that,
I can even see it coming down to them just saying to hell with it and going for 2-point conversions.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to come down to like who can get into the end zone. And there's been a lot of times this year where Green Bay has struggled to find the end zone. And I think that Ben Johnson. I mean, personnel is a little different because Green Bay is they're dealing with injuries, It's tough. They're kind of banged up, but yeah, I just think Ben Johnson's going to just outcoach Matt LaFleur in this one. I mean, he might prove me wrong. I don't know, but I just think the Bears are primed to win this game.
I'm going to say what.
Who played in that super windy game? Was that a Chicago and 49ers game where?
No, it was the Bears and the Eagles. And everybody was complaining that the reason why Jalen Hurts played so bad was because it was so windy.
No, I mean it was a few years before that. But it was. I forget who it was.
Taylor Williams played in it too. Fuck you.
But they were trying to kick field goals and extra points, and the wind was so bad that you couldn't even kick it. Like that's what I'm trying to figure out. At 39 miles an hour, is it going to be like that to where, even from 20 yards out, you kicking a field goal is going to be impossible?
It's going to be pointless. Yeah, they say
I just don't think a field goal is going to help anyone. I don't think this is a game where a field goal is going to help anyone.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm with the panel here. I'm picking the Bears. The Bears have been impressive. They have been, for a lot of people that thought Detroit was going to win that division, and between them and the Packers, the Bears just came out of nowhere and just like, see ya. And that's Paul.
Bear down.
Yeah. They're here to stay. So the Bears.
The Bears.
All right, one more game. This is number 6, San Francisco 49ers is 12-5, and this is number 3, Philadelphia, who is 11-6. This game is at 4:30 p.m. on the 11th of January on Fox. Not a potential pretty good game. I'm going to ask my first co-host, Paul, out of 5 stars, must watch between the 49ers and the Eagles.
If it's how the Eagles have been all year, the first half might be good. Second half, probably not.
So you rating it based on halves? On the first half, 4 stars. The second half, 2 stars.
I mean, have they not been the worst second half team you've ever seen?
They've been pretty pathetic in the second half. Yes,
and absolutely atrocious.
When you speak to Eagle fans too, it's like, but their defense, like your offense is atrocious.
Like there has been times where they do not move. They probably led the league in 3 and outs. Like they are absolutely atrocious in the second half. They've been absolutely atrocious most of the season, honestly. Like their defense keeps them in the game, and then there's just like these random just ugly games that they always find a way to win. I'm still waiting for Jalen Hurts to show me that he deserves to be the Super Bowl MVP that he is. They got all the pieces around him. It's going to be what's going to be the excuse. You got home field. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? What if this was them against Mac Jones? Like whatever, but I mean the way that the Niners have been playing, the way that Brock Purdy has been since coming back from injury, Christian McCaffrey is looking like the Christian McCaffrey of old. I mean, he had like a career high in touches. So they're giving him the ball every play. George Kittle and all that stuff. Plus, they've had a lot of injuries, man. They've overcome so much.
They have.
They got rid of Deebo Samuel. You know what I mean? They got Fred Warner's out. Like all these guys are out, man. And it's just here we are. And I'm happy. I wouldn't want anyone else to play Philly. Like this is like my dream right now, to see Philly play the 49ers. Because I want this to just be over and done with, and I don't gotta hear from anybody, and I can go on to living my life and just, whatever. Now if they prove me wrong, whatever. You know what I mean? I've taken shit on TikTok from Philly fans before, and whatever. But I will tell you, you're gonna need Jalen Hurts to show up. You're gonna need Jalen Hurts to make some big time flows. And I don't know if he's got it in him, man. AJ Brown's got to be locked in. Devontae Smith's got to be locked in. It's going to be one of those games, man, like where he's either getting the blame or he's getting all the credit. There is no in between. He's either going to win them this game or lose them this game. And I cannot wait for the latter because I get to watch this guy a lot because he's in my division. And I, to this day, still don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. I think he's just a guy who's been surrounded by talent his whole career. He's been blessed with great situations all through college, through the NFL. You know, they win the Super Bowl because they get Saquon Barkley, who has literally one of the greatest running back seasons of all time. And now you're this year where Saquon doesn't have half the year he had last year, and the defense is still as good as last year. So you're looking at a top tier defense, tons of playmakers around him, but the offensive line is banged up and it's not as good as it was last year. And I think that's the key for Philly is their offensive line was always kind of their key. And when Jalen Hurts gets under pressure, when you get to the quarterback and he's kind of forced to make a big throw, can he make that big throw? Brock Purdy's done it. I have full faith in Brock Purdy to make those plays. Brock Purdy is the, sneaky little shit speed fast guy. Like he's just one of those man, he's quicker than you think he is, and he can make plays with his legs, and he does things that you don't expect him to do. And the Niners have been there. They've made some runs. They got the pedigree. And I just think that, it could be a very interesting offseason if Philly gets knocked out in the first round of the postseason, especially if they have another bad second half. So I'm going to give this a 5 because I'm really going to be locked in, especially after halftime, just to see which version of Philly shows up. Mm-hmm. And then, hopefully it's competitive.
There you go. Mr. Brad, out of 5 stars, how many are you giving this game, sir?
I think just as good as both of these teams have been lately, it's going to be a 5-star watch game. Just because, like Paul was saying, you've got an extremely good offense and an extremely bad defense versus an extremely bad defense and an extremely bad offense. So you've got good offense versus great defense, and then horrible offense versus horrible defense. So it's going to come down to me, whoever wins that, 3-yard stretch from offense to defensive line. Can they get Saquon going just to take a little pressure off Jalen? Because like last year, Jalen had an amazing year just because Saquon was out of his mind, unstoppable. And that defense was nasty, as we saw what they did.
And the offensive line was just incredible. Like they
bullied people. They bullied people on both sides of the ball. I mean, look what they did to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I mean, that game was pretty much unwatchable by the second quarter. But yeah, did Kansas City come back in the Super Bowl? Yeah, but if you look at who they had in the last 10 minutes of that fourth quarter, that game doesn't end that way. But I think this is going to be probably the game in that division that sets up who's the second biggest threat in, besides Seattle.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Seattle's its own beast right now on both sides of the ball. But I think whoever wins this game is going to be the biggest threat to Seattle moving forward.
I mean, to put it in perspective before Cortez, says his piece, of all the teams in the postseason, so of all these teams we have in the playoffs, the Panthers and the Steelers are the only two teams with a worse total offense than the Eagles.
I am not surprised by that statistic.
The Eagles are the 24th ranked offense out of 32 teams, which is not ideal.
No.
And they're the 23rd. They're the 23rd pass offense. And again, that puts them, of all teams in the postseason, that puts them above the Panthers. So you're telling me my man is just above Bryce Young, who has never played a postseason snap. Jalen Hurts ranks 3 spots above Bryce Young at 23rd in passing offense.
He does rank 6th in total touchdowns at 33 this year.
Yeah, because he got pushed in from the goal line how many times?
Oh, the tushy pushy.
But that's either here or there. I'm just saying that's
The brotherly shove.
there's no way. And even then, like their defense isn't as
They're not
good
what
as
they
it was
were
last
last
year.
year.
They're
Yeah.
the 13th ranked total defense. So I mean, they're not as good, and I know a lot of that's kind of skewed because of the amount of 3-and-outs the Eagles have had this year. Their defense has spent a lot of time on the field.
Oh,
So-
exactly. And that's one of the things that I see with even the Steelers is that offense is anemic at times. When you've got a 15-minute swing almost between time of possession, that just means that defense is out there 10 to 12 minutes longer than the offense. It's never a good game when your defense is out there for that long.
Yeah. Facts, man. All right. So one interesting style, just kind of dive into this here is, well, at the end of the season, the 49ers passing offense ranked 7th in NFL and NFL's pro overall efficiency. Purdy's pass rating was at 100.5, which is the highest among qualified quarterbacks, which is 5.1 completion percentage over expected. It's only tied by MVP runner Drake May. Drake May is leading that category, and rightfully so because he's been very good. But to get back to Brock Purdy, that was at a 52.6 success rate at top market league. Now, he did miss 8 games. So, but among that, he has still been one of the most efficient passers in the game. Well, on the flip side, the Eagles' defense has been among the league's most efficient against the pass. They're top 5 against NFL Pro Dozen passing metrics, which allow a lead low 72.7 passer rate and 60.3 completion rate on short and intermediate passes, where Purdy does thrive in. And on those throws, they are just 1 or 2 defenses that have more interceptions than 11 than touchdowns allowed with 9. Alone the Chargers that surrender 43% success rate, which is the 5th best of any defense here. So the reason that the Eagles are really in this game is that pass defense is subpar. That defense knows how to lock in and make it a ball game and make it tough. So when we see these dog fights and Jalen Hurts need to move the ball, Jalen Hurts just need to be average in the second half. I mean, Paul went about this on an extent about this. He just need to be average because their defense is doing their part of the bargain here. And it's one of those things that we need to watch there to see how that's going to pick up. If Brock Purdy's going to really eat them alive. But this is a competent quarterback in Brock Purdy that they're playing against. Brock Purdy has also been one of the hottest quarterbacks to close the league as well, too. So that's not everything to look over his play. And this is one of the 3 teams that's represented in the NFC West, which is holy crap. Like, all these teams deserve to be a number 1 seed. Like, it's just that how compared that division been the whole year. So with that being said, though, last game, who wins this? The Eagles or the 49ers? And Brad, who you got winning this game?
I'm going to go with the 49ers just so I can make Thomas mad.
Oh, man. That's funny. Paul?
What I love most about this game is if you're a stats guy and you're into rankings and all that stuff, this is literally the Jalen Hurts game. This is literally the game where the Niners' pass defense is way worse than their rush defense. It's like the 20th. What are they? The 20th ranked total defense versus the 23rd ranked total offense, but they're ranked. What are they against the pass? 49ers. They're 25th against the pass. So they are bottom feeders against the pass. So, this is a game where it's primed for them to put Jalen Hurts in a position to beat them. Can he beat them? And for the sake of everyone in the greater Philadelphia area, you better hope he can beat them. Because I will not shut up about it the next time we record.
So going back,
and I hope Tom wants to join us. I'm gonna have a lot to say. So you have the opportunity to shut me up, and I'll leave him alone. I won't pick on him anymore. Or I'm taking his lunch money till the next season starts. You choose what you want to do.
So going back to the Bears-Packers game, when I was talking, one of the windiest games in NFL history was Chicago versus the 49ers in 2005, where it featured 27-mile-per-hour winds, but some recorded gusts over 47 miles an hour.
Oh, boy.
So if you're saying 39 miles an hour gusts you can go look at the highlights on that on YouTube, but I can remember Robbie, one of the kicker for
was it Robbie?
I think
Gould?
it was the Bears. Yeah, Robbie Gould trying to kick a field goal from what would be the extra point line now, and it not even being close.
I have remembered that game. Yes, that was a mess.
It's like playing Madden with the sliders turned all the way up. Just like, let it go.
Yeah, I remember watching because I moved down here later, just after Christmas that year, and I can remember watching that game on TV. What is going on?
Oh man, that's
for the sake of Philadelphia, for the sake of cheesesteaks and Rocky Balboa and everything sacred, y'all better hope Jalen Hurts shows up. But I'm rolling with the 49ers.
That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for that answer. I am also going with the 49ers. I really worry about Jalen Hurts in the second half. Defense is fantastic. They have every excuse to win this game. They're at home. They have one of the best pass defense. They create some turnovers. This will be a long day for the 49ers. That NFC West is no joke. There's a reason this whole panel, when we look, we got San Fran, we have the Rams, and we have Seattle sitting in the mist. We already on this panel and picked 2 NFC teams to go forward. This NFC West is no joke. And I'm saying, listen, for the Carolina Panthers and the Philadelphia Eagles, you have to play one of these teams. This is a tough get out for anybody here. And so I am going to roll with the 49ers to get the win here on the road. So both of the NFC West teams went on the road, and it's going to set up for a fun rematch for one of these teams that's going to play Seattle. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, the NFC West is 1-5-6. That's their seed going into this. So yeah, that's 4 heavily contested games that each team had to go through.
It's also skewed. It's also skewed a little bit because Carolina's is ranked higher because they won their division.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, out of the possible rankings, they're 1-5-6.
Yeah. Pretty sure the NFL owner meeting is going to be fun this offseason, discussing if what the rank's going to be as far as seating. We'll see what comes out of that, but I don't know. We'll see what happens here. But guys, we're at an hour 30. I think we need to wrap this up. Anything else we need to add here? I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're fine. Do you see the Bulls Heat game got postponed because they couldn't get the court dry?
No, really?
Yeah, the court there was moisture on the court and they couldn't get rid of it.
Bulls Heat game.
Mm-hmm.
It's slip and slide. Let them play.
Where's that? This was a home game for the Heat?
It was in Chicago.
Oh,
I'm assuming they had a hockey game and they put the court down.
Blackhawks.
And something was going on with the ice underneath and they couldn't keep the court dry. So no basketball in Chicago today.
Good call.
My guess is it's so cold outside they had to turn the heat on between the hockey game and the basketball game, and it just rained from the vents.
Yeah,
Shot City.
They brought the heat in, and it didn't even matter.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff, man. All right, well, hey, let's wrap this bad boy up. Let's go and do this. Paul, give me your @name. Where you at?
Yeah, bro. I'm on Twitter at _Paul_Mac, and I'm on Instagram at thePaulMac520.
Brad, you know I'm gonna ask you, but go ahead and give your people what you do. You already know. You got no @name, but just.
I am the semi-professional trivia host at the Wheelhouse 19th Hole on Tuesdays at about 8 o'clock.
Welcome back, Brad. Good to have you back on the show. It's been too long, sir. You can find me at _CP. That's on Twitter. That's what we call it nowadays. So with that being said, make sure you stay tuned. Panel will be getting up here. We'll definitely recap the games following here. Super Wild Card weekend is set to be taken off here. It should be a really good one with all the matchups that's going to be playing. So we'll get set here. So where you get the podcast before, you can get that BOC podcast on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You can just type in Balls My Court Podcast. Give us a like, comment, shout there. If you want to get us on internet radio station, we're at radio.fm. So support us there and anywhere else and any other music station that you're on that station. So we appreciate the support there as well. Where you heard us before, you heard us on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, where you got the podcast before, we advise you to tune in. But this should wrap it up for here. So speaking for Brad Renner, speaking for Paul Matt, this is Cortez Paul, BLC Podcast signing out. Enjoy some football and tune into that Miami and Ole Miss game because it's a real good one. Besides that, have a good night.
Have a good night.
Peace.